The Aleph Institute is Dror's older brother organization, a group of people that come together to help Yidden in jails throughout America. And it's a tremendous chus for us tonight to have Rabbi Zvi Boyarsky, representing the Aleph Institute, to come and introduce Mr. Apfel. Rabbi Boyarsky, please come on stage.
Shalom Aleichem. You know, when Yoeli Mendelowitz asked me if I would come to introduce my dear beloved friend Reb Chaim Yosef Apfel, I immediately agreed without realizing how does one actually properly introduce a person who literally gave up years of his life with tremendous mesiras nefesh to help a Yid he never even met, who not only was he not asked, he jumped in to help. I'll never forget when Rosa, Shalom's daughter, was going around collecting, and in addition to leading the whole legal effort, Chaim Yosef told her, those days are over, not on my watch. I'm going to take it on my shoulders to make sure that you as the queen can act as a queen and not have to go around, and literally did that. And I was thinking, what words can one say to properly introduce a person who literally dedicates his life, yoimam v'layla, with every fiber of koyach, to help a Yid with an emes and with an ava that is beyond inspiring. And I had this chus, Chaim Yosef took me several times to his father's kever in Queens. And it dawned on me that the words that are inscribed on his father's kever, and those who know Chaim Yosef's father, and I did not have the chus to know him, even though I feel like I know him, understand where Chaim Yosef gets that love and mesiras nefesh from. And on the kever, on the mitzvah, it says, Elikim v'anoshim samach bechol liboy. And that's truly what Chaim Yosef continues to live on, and that his father, Willie Apfel, lives on through him and through his maisim. And I know he's watching from Shemayim as his children and grandchildren continue his trailblazing path of chesed. And just a short anecdote. I remember thinking there were times when there were many legal scholars who were being approached to help in Shalom Mordechai's case. And some of them said, there's no way I'm getting involved. And after 20 minutes of Chaim Yosef Apfel speaking to them, they're totally on board. And I saw a story that explains it. The Chofetz Chaim, they say, once went to speak to a particular government official, but because of the language barrier, there was an interpreter. So the Chofetz Chaim spoke, and then the interpreter was about to speak, and the government official said, no need for any interpretation. I understood his language, and his request is granted. Because he spoke mimitzoy nefesh. He spoke with all his heart. He didn't understand a word he said, but he understood how much it was negea b'nefesh. And that's really why I believe Hashem chose Chaim Yosef to be the shliach, to bring such a Yeshua for Klal Yisrael, because the Avos Yisrael is so deep. And that's why I really believe it's so apropos that Chaim Yosef is being honored here by Dror, because Dror lives that theme. Dror represents love, unconditional love to people who need it the most, who are in their most vulnerable, dark hours. When you see these families and you see the joy and the relief that Dror brings them through, they become part of their family. And I know at Aleph we're so honored to work with Dror because of the incredible altruistic work that they do, helping wives, children, bringing them hope and love. The Rebbe, I'm going to end off with this word. The Rebbe once said that the reason why the word Chaim is Beloshen Rabim, even though when you say Chaim to an individual person, you still use Loshen Rabim, because Chaim means life is only really life when you're living it to help another person. When it's for yourself, it's Nishkan Emes Tikalebin. And that's maybe why Baruch HaKodesh, Chaim Yosef's parents gave him the name Chaim Yosef, because he lives Chaim, living for another in a constant manner of Yosef, Haisafa, constantly adding. Through Avos Yisrael, we should be Zoichet to all be together with all Yidin from wherever they are, from Pinei Sa'aretz, in Yerushalayim with Mashiach Chaim Yosef. It's my true distinct honor and pleasure to know you, let alone introduce you. Please come up.
Good evening. Thank you so much for this honor. I accept it on behalf of all the people who are responsible for this tremendousness. On behalf of the core committee that worked day and night, on behalf of the Askanim, on behalf of the people who contributed b'leiv u'b'nefesh financially.
Rabbi Sai, please come closer so we can all hear. This is one speech you don't want to miss. Everybody, please, if you can please give your undivided attention. Shh.
And on behalf of all the Yidden whose tefillas were niskabel by the Kadosh Baruch Hu, and Baruch Hashem, we saw this nes. The hour is late. I know I want to go home. I'm sure everybody else here wants to go home, so I'm going to keep my remarks very short. The real hero tonight is with us. I think he's still here. And Shalom Mordechai, please come up on the stage. The real hero tonight is my entire Brida, Shalom Mordechai Rubashkin, who taught all of Klal Yisrael so many valuable lessons. Just one story that I think you might find interesting. On Zeis Chanukah, at approximately 3:30 in the afternoon, I was sitting in my office, and the phone rang, and it was a 202 area code. And I picked up the phone, and I said, hello. The person said, is this attorney Gary Apfel? And I said, yes, it is. Can you confirm that you are counsel for Shalom Mordechai Rubashkin? I said, I can. He said, then I'm delighted to tell you my name is Chris Grieco, and I am Deputy White House Counsel, and the President of the United States has just commuted your client's sentence. At that moment, I recognized and realized that I was witnessing a nes nigla, a revealed miracle in our own lifetime, because it was a revealed miracle. He called me back about 40 minutes later with the telephone number of the warden in the prison to make the arrangements to pick Shalom Mordechai up to bring him home. I called the warden. The person didn't want to put the warden on the phone, and I said, I'm really sorry, but the White House has instructed me that the only person I'm allowed to speak to is the warden. I know I'll never get to say that again. The warden was expecting my call and said, yes, Mr. Apfel, I've been expecting your call. We received the commutation order, and within 10 minutes, we removed your client from his cell. And in fact, he's sitting here right now. Would you like to speak to him? Klutz Kasha of all times. And I said, of course I'd like to speak to him. She puts my entire breeder on the telephone. It was a little bit in a state of shock, excitement. And he tells me that he was in lock-in, which is when they close all the cells, and he sat down to make a Suda for Zeis Chanukah. And what kind of Suda can you make already in prison? Matzah and tuna fish. And he washed for the Suda, and in the middle of the Suda, the cell door barges open, and the guard says to him, Rubashkin, out! No explanation. He said, is this a shakedown? A shakedown is when they come in and they inspect. No, out. No explanation. Baruch Hashem, he had the foresight to grab his talis and tefillin. By the way, Baruch Hashem, that morning he had put his Sefer Chayvus HaLevavos, which we all know, Shalom Mordechai is a baki in Chayvus HaLevavos, into his talis bartel. And he wasn't sure where they were taking him. He wasn't sure whether he was being moved to another cell block, whether Chas v'Sholom he was being moved to another prison, because they wouldn't say anything to him. And finally, they brought him to the warden's office, and the warden I think probably the first time in 8.5, 9 years that anybody in the U.S. government spoke to you like a human being, said, Mr. Rubashkin, I'm delighted to tell you that the President of the United States has commuted your sentence and you're free to go home. Shalom Mordechai tells me all this. And you probably have heard this already, but he listened to it from me. So do you know what he said to the warden? Emes, he said, thank you very much, but you know, I washed for a Suda in my cell, and I have to bench b'makom Suda. May I go back to my cell to bench, and then I'll go home? And the warden wouldn't let him go, so b'di'evet he benched in the warden's office. I think you've all heard Shalom Mordechai speak about Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Emunah, Bitachon, Geula. The stira between Emunah and Bitachon. I just want to focus on one part of it tonight, because Shalom Mordechai explains so beautifully that the Rebbe explains, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, I'm a Kapitchnitzer, but the Lubavitcher Rebbe explains that Emunah is for the Avar and Bitachon is for the Asid. So I don't want to focus on the Avar and what we did. We need to focus on what we still have to do. Because Shalom Mordechai, you opened my eyes, and I believe the eyes of all of Klal Yisrael, to the plight of all the Yidden who are in Tfisa, and so many more are sitting there, and every one of those cases is a heartbreaking case. In fact, I have decided that I'm not going to return to the practice of commercial law, but I'm going to continue work pro bono for all the Yidden in Tfisa. And that's why I agreed to be here tonight, because Dror is such an important organization. Every person that works for Dror works like I do, pro bono, voluntary. The only schar they get is the schar in Shemayim. And the good that Dror does, I know firsthand from your Rebbitzin and from your children. They used to look forward every year. I'll just speak about one thing. They used to look forward every year to the Dror Shabbaton. The children told me they would get shalach manos, they would get pajamas, and the ability to spend time with children of other people in a similar situation was mechazik them all for an entire year. That's the Yavar, but let's focus on the Asid. Sadly, Dror has not been able to hold the Shabbaton this year. It does not have sufficient funds. I would ask every person in this room to commit. If every person here would commit to either giving or raising $3,000, just $3,000, Dror could hold that Shabbaton. The schar that you'll get, the chesed that you're doing is indescribable. So please, we'll take names at the door. Every person should please commit for Dror $3,000 that should be able to hold the Shabbaton this year. And in that schus, may the Kadosh Baruch Hu bench you, and may we be zoichet to see Mashiach. And in the meantime, may we do the work that will bring Mashiach. Shkoyach, thank you.
You spoke and I have to stand over there. So
Say that out loud.
Okay, Teire Yidden. Ich habe eine Möglichkeit, I'm speaking English also. Okay, speaking English is fine. First of all, I want to thank my Teire Brid over here, Rabbi Apfel, for all the work he did. Because his shtadlus is in the way that it says the Chavos Lavavis, he knows that whatever he's doing is only a keli, only what the Eibishter wants him to do, but the real Yeshua comes from the Eibishter. He understands it most, and Zicha, this is why the Eibishter gave him to be the keli for this big ness. But I also want to say that the nest that we saw, and we all experienced, we're also very freilich with, is clearly in the schus of our Achdus Yisrael, of our unity. And Dror actually works on that unity. It's not who you are, what kind of Yid you are. If you're a Yid, Ben Avram, Yisrael, Yaakov, Sarik, Dror is there to help them. There's no boundaries, no sugim. And the same way we see Pinny Lipschutz, who spoke before, is somebody I never knew before. He heard the story, what happened to me. He's not from the same place where I grew up. He's not from the same shita that I grew up. He's a Yidover, and he heard another Yid is in trouble, so he came
and he put everything he has on the line, B'Peil Mamish, in order to help another Yid. And that is the extreme showing of Avos Yisrael. And B'Meila, I want to say that if everybody needs a Ness in their life, we all need Nisim. Everybody, the successful people, not so successful people, we all know that we need Nisim. And this is the key. We see the Eibush is giving us a message. Dafke through Avos Yisrael, Achdos Yisrael, we bring Nisim upon ourselves. So we should continue without any, Avos Yisrael means without any reason why, just because he's a Yid. And I would say the Pinchas to me has become a Taka brother also. And he shows me the way. Every time I speak to him, I'm overawed at the idea of his Mesiras Nefesh, like Pinchas, but Aaron Akayan, that he went and he saw something had to get done. He didn't think about himself at all. And if it's the right thing to do, he did it. And this is why he was Zeicha. We all Zeicha to see Yeshua that comes through him, through the way he was able to unite Eden through his paper and through his speeches and through his being Macht Eden. He did his way. And Reb Chaim Yosef did it in his own way. I used to talk to him every single week on a legal call. And he mamish tirelessly. And I know for sure that the other Eden that he's going to help other Eden in Dror. And he's also going to be the same Avos Yisrael. I never met him in my life. First time I met him, I knew he was my lawyer because he came through the door. Otherwise, I never knew who he was. And I spoke to him already a year before with Avos Yisrael. Right? I'm not being megazim. What we're seeing here tonight is simple Avos Yisrael. And this is the lesson we should all take. The Eibush hears that tefillah, and the Eibush loves it. It's one of the reasons we say, Arizal says, we say, before davening, because a father loves when his children are together. Even when the children do things that are not good, and the father would be angry at them, but when he sees that together, he gives them what they want. It's the same way we also have our issues, but when we get together, the Eibush gives what we want. The Eibush help, everybody should be gebenched, mit der Aleph Beis Gimel, have his own gula, and we should all be zeichet to gula shleima through our munah shleima and abiyas Mashiach Keinu b'meidimenu. Thank you, Reb Chaim Yosef. Thank you, Reb Pinchas, and all gebenched. Thank you, Dror.